Have you ever wondered who appoints the judges that uphold justice in India and how this system has evolved over time? It's a question that's not only intriguing but vital to understanding the core of our democratic setup. The judges in India play a paramount role. They are the custodians of justice, the guardians of the rule of law. They interpret the constitution, protect our rights, and keep the balance between the different organs of the state. But who puts them in that position? Who decides who will don the robes and ascend to the bench? The answer lies in the Indian judicial appointment system, a mechanism that has been fine-tuned over decades with its own share of controversies and reforms. Its evolution is a tale of power struggles, constitutional amendments, and the ceaseless quest for judicial independence. It's a saga that reflects the dynamism of our democracy. So, are you ready to dive in? Join us as we delve into the fascinating journey of the Indian judicial appointment system. The roots of the Indian judicial appointment system can be traced back to the colonial era. This was a time when the Indian legal system was heavily influenced by the British, who were then the colonial masters. The British legal system was rooted in the concept of justice, fairness, and rule of law, principles that were later adopted by independent India. In the early days, the British appointed the judges to the courts in India. These judges were usually British citizens who had been trained in law in Britain. The Privy Council, which was the highest court of appeal in the British Empire, played a significant role during this era. It served as the final court of appeal for cases from India, which meant that the ultimate authority in the legal system was still in the hands of the British. The Privy Council's authority extended not just to the interpretation of laws, but also to the appointment of judges. It was a system that was criticized for its inherent bias towards the British, but it also introduced the concept of an independent judiciary to India. The judges, once appointed, were independent of the executive and legislative branches of the government. They could make decisions based on the law and their interpretation of it, without any interference from the political powers that be. This separation of powers, which is a cornerstone of any democratic system, was a crucial legacy from the British era. It ensured that the judiciary could act as a check and balance on the other branches of the government, preventing any one branch from becoming too powerful. However, this system was not without its flaws. The lack of representation of Indians in the judiciary was a major issue. There were also concerns about the lack of transparency in the appointment process and the potential for bias in the decisions of the British judges. The colonial era set the foundation, but the real transformation came post-independence. The British may have laid the groundwork, but it was the Indian leaders who took the reins post-independence and shaped the judicial system into what it is today. This transformation is a story of resilience, adaptation, and the pursuit of justice. And it's a story we'll delve into in the next section. The dawn of independence brought about significant changes in the Indian judicial appointment system. With the shackles of colonial rule broken, India was free to establish its own systems, its own courts, and its own laws. The birth of a nation also marked the birth of a new era for the Indian judiciary. At the heart of this transformation was the creation of the Supreme Court and the High Courts. The Supreme Court, the apex judicial body, was established in January 1950. Its formation marked a significant milestone in the history of Indian judiciary. The High Courts, on the other hand, were formed in the various states as the highest courts of justice at the state level, ensuring that justice was accessible to everyone, everywhere. But the true star of this transformation was the Indian Constitution. Enacted in November 1949, it became the fundamental law of the land. It was the Constitution that laid down the procedure for the appointment of judges to the Supreme Court and the High Courts. The Constitution stated that the judges of the Supreme Court would be appointed by the President of India, who would be guided in his decision by the advice of the Chief Justice of India. For the High Courts, the Chief Justice was to be appointed by the President in consultation with the Chief Justice of India and the Governor of the state. This system was designed to ensure the independence of the judiciary. The Constitution aimed to create a balance of power where the judiciary could function independently, free from the influence of the executive and legislative branches of government. Yet, the system was not without its share of controversy. Questions were raised about the president's role in the appointment of judges and the balance of power between the judiciary and the executive. The constitution set the stage, but the system was yet to face numerous amendments and controversies. This was just the beginning of a long and eventful journey for the Indian judicial appointment system. The transformation was underway and the road ahead was full of twists and turns. The Indian judicial appointment system has witnessed several amendments, each with its own share of controversies. Now, let's delve into the major amendments, their implications, and the controversies they stirred up. First off, we have the 42nd Amendment enacted in the year 1976 during the period of emergency in India. This amendment, also known as the Mini-Constitution, altered the balance of power between the judiciary and the parliament. It gave the parliament the authority to amend any part of the constitution, including fundamental rights, without judicial review. This sparked a huge controversy as it was perceived as an attempt to undermine the independence of the judiciary. Fast forward to the year 2014. The Indian Parliament passed the 99th Amendment introducing the National Judicial Appointments Commission, or NJAC. The NJAC was intended to replace the Collegium System of appointing judges. It proposed a 6-member commission, including the Chief Justice of India, 2 senior-most Supreme Court judges, the Law Minister, and 2 eminent persons. This new system was aimed at bringing transparency and accountability to the judicial appointments. However, the NJAC was met with fierce opposition. Critics argued that the involvement of the Law Minister and the 2 eminent persons, who could be non-judicial members, threatened the independence of the judiciary. They feared that the government could manipulate the appointments, leading to a judiciary that was not free and fair. In 2015, the Supreme Court declared the NJAC unconstitutional. It ruled that the NJAC violated the principle of judicial independence, a part of the basic structure of the Constitution, which cannot be tampered with even by constitutional amendments. These amendments sparked debates, raising questions about the independence of the judiciary. The controversies surrounding these amendments highlight the delicate balance that needs to be maintained between the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary in a democratic setup like India. The quest for a perfect system of judicial appointments continues, with the need to ensure transparency, accountability, and most importantly, the independence of the judiciary. Today, the Indian judicial appointment system operates on the Collegium System. Now let's plunge into the intricate workings of this system and its role in shaping the Indian judiciary. The Collegium System is a unique method where the judicial appointments and transfers are decided by a panel of the 5 senior-most judges of the Supreme Court, including the Chief Justice of India. This system, conceived to maintain the independence of the judiciary, has its roots in the Indian Constitution, which underscores the importance of a free and fair judiciary. However, like any system, the Collegium System has its share of pros and cons. On the positive side, it shields the judiciary from political interference, ensuring that the scales of justice remain balanced. But on the flip side, it has been criticized for its lack of transparency and accountability. Critics argue that the system operates like a closed club, with decisions often shrouded in secrecy. The Collegium System has also found itself at the center of ongoing debates. Questions have been raised about its efficacy, with some arguing that it needs a complete overhaul, while others maintain that it only requires minor tweaks. These debates reflect the significance of the system and its impact on the Indian judiciary. The Collegium System remains a topic of intense discussion and debate even today. As we continue to explore the Indian judicial appointment system, it's worth remembering that every system evolves, and the Collegium System is no exception. The journey of the Indian judicial appointment system is a testament to India's evolving democracy. This journey, as we've traversed together today, is marked with crucial milestones that have shaped the judiciary, a pillar of our democracy. From the inception, where the executive held sway over appointments, we moved to the transformative era of the 70s and 80s. Here, the judiciary sought to assert its independence, paving the way for a system more reflective of a balanced democracy. Then we grappled with controversial amendments, each one stirring intense debate, testing the resilience of our democratic institutions. These amendments, contentious as they were, brought to light the dynamic interplay between the judiciary, the executive, and the legislature. We then delved into the Collegium System, a unique Indian innovation aimed at preserving judicial independence. This system, though not without its critics, has been instrumental in maintaining the balance of power. Each of these stages, each of these evolutions has left an indelible mark on the Indian judiciary. They've shaped the course of our democracy, reflecting our nation's commitment to uphold justice, fairness, and the rule of law. As we continue to debate and question, remember, the power of a functioning democracy lies in its ability to evolve. This is the story of the Indian judicial appointment system, the story of our democracy.